There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go, show recaps prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and we are back here live for your WWE Raw Recap, July the 13th, 2026. And for the third week in a row, I'm joined by my co-host for the Raw Recap. It is Kyle the Man Anthony. What's going on, brother? How's it going? And how did you feel about the show tonight?
What's going on? It's I think the show was pretty good overall. I had some moments I did enjoy, some moments where they were just there. It wasn't bad, but it was just there. But I enjoyed it overall.
So before we get into the card and everything that happened on Raw tonight, what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts going into Saturday night's main event? Because we have a new match that was added tonight, but that's the locked that card is locked. Like, we're not getting any more matches out of it. So, what's your thoughts heading into Saturday night's main event with two women's matches and then Danhausen and JD in a no disqualification, and then obviously Cody and Punk against Gunther and Sammy main event? What's
I feel
your
it's a
thoughts?
waste. Ultimately, I've always felt like that Saturday night's main event has been a waste. I just feel it's just not for me, because ultimately nothing really substantial happens. It's just a show. It's Raw with no commercials, with a lot of just matches it's just Raw. It's SmackDown with no commercials. Ultimately, it's like it's about them the very next week or month going into the actual pay-per-view itself. They do this every single time. Go Saturday's main event after Royal Rumble or before Royal Rumble. Saturday's main event before whatever the pay-per-view is going to be in May. Now they're doing it, and now they're doing it before SummerSlam. And it's like, I wish this was Evolution ultimately, like it was last year. I don't know why. It's or either that or just not do the show at all and just hold off and wait until SummerSlam. They decided to wait until Money in the Bank to happen in October, because that's which is very odd, because I'm so used for Money in the Bank to happen in the summer. So the fact that that's in October is like, okay, fine, whatever. But for replacing for Saturday's main event, I almost wish they just didn't have a show on. Ultimately, they just only focused on SummerSlam. They did Night of Champions, and then it should have just focused heavily on SummerSlam and not worry about MSG. They could have just had a Raw or SmackDown take place there. Ultimately, they didn't really need to do Saturday's main event. I wish it wasn't in their contract to do these shows, because it does not matter. It's for them. It's for people who are into that type of show that have that when it existed in the 80s. But I hear from people that when the show happens and they watch it, nothing substantial really happens on that show. So it's like, what's the point of it? It's going to be some good wrestling, but some of the matches should happen at SummerSlam, mainly Lyra and Bayley. I mean, what are we doing, man? I know they're going to do the rematch, but still, I mean, come on.
Well,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that the decided to do the 6-man tag at SummerSlam and not put that at Saturday's main event. Like, really? Whatever.
Well, it's my biggest issue is that they are they're having trouble selling tickets. Ultimately, they're having trouble selling tickets at Saturday night's main event. They're having trouble selling tickets at SummerSlam. So I do understand that they have to do some stuff to kind of, I don't know, sell tickets, I guess, so to speak. Especially with SummerSlam. Because we're like, I don't know, 3 weeks away at this point from SummerSlam. They added what? They added 2 more matches tonight. To already what was it, a 4-match card? At SummerSlam. So now we have 6 matches official for SummerSlam. And we're gonna get probably another 7 or 8 before it's all said and done. But my problem is this is supposed to be the biggest Saturday Night Main event that there is. I mean, period. The end. That this is supposed to be the MSG Saturday Night Main event, and I know they got Roman on there with Jalen Brunson, but I'm gonna tell you right now, all that is a ticket, and that's a ticket employee. Because the card sucks. I'm just gonna tell you right now, like it's I don't know how we're gonna be able to carry on. I mean, we're gonna do it, but I have you and 8 others coming on Wednesday for the prediction show. I mean, 4 matches. I mean, hell, like I'm gonna have to give everybody a minute and a half per match just to get a long enough show. Like we're not getting any more matches.
No,
I don't know. I feel like
I feel bad for you, man, to do that. I'm almost thinking, I don't know. That would say I wouldn't even do a prediction show at all for that show. I would never do it at all personally because it's just it especially when it's a week before this or a month before the actual pay-per-view that does matter, and that will have a lot to talk about, a lot of different directions that each match could go because of the show that's happening in for SummerSlam. It's like or a normal pay-per-view, like they just announced Survivor Series is going to happen in November again for War Games, which I'm excited for. And it's just, do you care about the important shows? I don't know. They're just hell bent on doing these Saturday Main Event shows really for no reason to really, like, I don't know. I feel bad for people who actually go into that show itself, because what are they gonna get? And it's like, why even bother going? Why even bother buying tickets for the show? It's like, I kind of wish that the crowd made a statement of saying that they see what the card is for these shows, and it's like, don't buy the ticket for it, and then they'll stop doing it. that's when they're gonna stop doing it, when people stop buying tickets for it.
I think that, and we'll get into it once we get to the gauntlet match. But obviously, I knew who was going. I've been knowing that Chad Gable was going to go to SummerSlam for over a month. It's his hometown. It's pretty self-explanatory. He's got to win the title there. I do feel like that's going to help, but the bloodline sells tickets. That's just what it is. So that's why that's another reason. And I mean, Royce Keys is going to get on a big a major PLE. We'll talk about that obviously later, but I mean, neither one of those matches are really, in my opinion, are just going to ultimately move the needle when it comes to ticket sales. Like, they are putting all their eggs in the 2 main events in Oba and Brock, and I don't know. I think they're in trouble. I think TKO is Triple H. He's probably on the hot seat, to be honest with you. I can't see a way that they're going to be able to. They're not selling 110,000 seats. I mean, I don't know. There are some other rumored matches that I talked about on Scoops. Like a Blake Tiffany. We'll see what happens with the Rhea situation. I'm sure the women's tag titles will be on the line if Fallon and Laney don't win at Saturday Night Main Event. I don't think they will. And we'll talk about that obviously Wednesday. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, prediction shows are fun. We'll make the best of it. At least I'll know that we'll have plenty of time to prepare for Queens of WWE, because that prediction show is definitely not going over an hour. There's just no way. Not even with 10 people. But I mean, ever since they announced that the Saturday Night Main Event was going to be at MSG, I don't know if they pivoted towards having to worry more about selling tickets for SummerSlam because obviously it's a 2-night event. But for me, it just I don't know.
I don't know,
didn't
man. I
really.
feel like it doesn't matter where the show take place at. They clearly don't care about Saturday night's main event. I don't know why they decided to choose Madison Square Garden. Like I said, I wish it was like Raw or SmackDown like it usually is any other time to go to MSG. So it's like like a waste. It doesn't really matter where the show takes place. It's never been important when they first brought it back 2 years ago. It's not and it's not important now. I mean, it's pretty sad. Now it's kind of, I mean, it's slightly better. I mean, slightly, but does really anything substantial really fully happens there? Are we really going to see a title? No, I do hope. I mean, it may not happen, but I do hope we do see a title change between, for Fatal Influence to win the championships. It may not happen, but that's what I do want to see there. Bailey and Lyra should be fine, but I think it's going to be in a DQ. They'll do the rematch at SummerSlam, which I like. I don't know why they should just announce that tonight anyway, and do like some type of no disqualification. But then I was thinking about that. I guess we'll get to that later because I had thoughts about that a little bit more. But I thought that was going to be for SummerSlam, and I mean, I'm sure still will, but they should just said SummerSlam and not Saturday's main event. It made me disappointed. So, yeah, I don't know. This show just does not matter. It's just there to me, and I'm just focused on SummerSlam, and WWE clearly is focused on SummerSlam, which they should be. So, they just got to fill up the card more.
We'll talk more about the Bailey and Lyra situation, but we kind of talked about it on Queens of WWE last week. We touched on it, obviously, on the Raw recap last week as well. I don't think that's a SummerSlam match. I think that they turned Lyra heel for a reason. I think she's going to go over at Saturday Night's main event because I'm not sure. We got somebody in the chat. Bad Girl Livy. What's going on, Bad Girl Livy? Oh, you're new here. Good to see you. Love your profile picture. Nice to see you on the EVP show. So I think for me, like, what if they don't? I mean, I would have no problem with them running it back, but you got to have something for Soul to do, and they turned Lyra heel. And I mean, I guess Soul could defend against Raquel or Roxanne or something like that at SummerSlam. But I'm gonna tell you right now that and this isn't me trying to give away any spoilers, but I got a call or a text in the middle, like 30 minutes before Raw, like Stephanie McCoy is showing up at SummerSlam. So. Yeah, that doesn't sound too good for Liv, honestly. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. Maybe she joins Judgment Day for hell. I don't know. She's been off TV so long. I don't know what they might do with her, but they gotta have something for Soul to do. And Lyra makes sense but I mean, Soul's kind of feuding with the Judgment Day right now too. So we'll see. It could carry over on. So, but we'll go ahead and get started. Carlos is having a space right now too, so I don't think we'll get as many as we normally do. And I think I didn't start early, so I started a few minutes late. But Bad Girl Livy says, "How are you doing? We are doing fantastic. I love that profile picture. Hot girl Liv Morgan. Good to see you. I think I just got in a chat with you on Twitter, so I'm good to see you. Glad to see you're here. If you are watching this live on X, if you can find my YouTube channel, if you're not subscribed, please go and like and hit that subscribe button and help me. I think I'm maybe one away from 250 or something like that. So I've gained quite a few subscribers on YouTube, and I gained about 10 to 12 people in the exclusive news channel since yesterday. So things have been really picking up. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate the sub. Share with your friends. I do a lot of giveaways, especially for people who come to the show on Sundays. I do a scoop show I give out information and stuff like that. I always do giveaways and stuff for stuff like that. So as soon as I get to 300, I'm gonna do a really, really, really big giveaway because that was my ultimate goal by SummerSlam. So appreciate the sub, share with your friends if you enjoy the content. Hopefully they will too, and we can get to 300 and we can do a big giveaway in here, and Kyle can be part of it as well. So, all right, so let's go ahead and kick it off. So tonight is the Raw recap. We are live, and we're not from the OTS. We're not from the OTS venue like JD. We're from the EVP venue. July 13th, 2026. We are from somewhere that I have been quite a few times. The American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. With me being a Louisiana native, I've been to the American Airlines Center quite a few times. This is the WWE Saturday Night Main Event Go Home show of Raw, which is fucking crazy. We're gonna see the WWE Queen of the Ring, Io Sky face the Judgment Days. And God, I got a lot to say about this. The Judgment Day Prodigy Roxanne Perez in a singles match, plus the Bloodlines WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins will have a contract signing for the heavyweight title match at SummerSlam. We're also going to get an Intercontinental Championship #1 contender gauntlet match: Chad Gable versus Javon Evans versus Dragon Lee versus Joe Henry versus the Judgment Day AAA Mega Champion Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the best luchador and the greatest Mysterio of all time, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The line of Bulgaria, Rusev versus and All Ego Ethan Page, Bailey and Lyra meet face to face. The Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar will return to address the King of the Ring winner of Femi, and then obviously Roman and Seth. So the show opens up with Michael Cole and Corey Graves welcome us as we see the pre-show arrivals of Seth Rollins, Penta, the Intercontinental Champion, which we haven't seen on TV in a few weeks, Io Sky, and hold on just 1 second. Hey y'all, quick question: who y'all think is winning, Io Sky or Liv Morgan? I am a Liv fan, bad girl, but
Hard to say.
I do
You go either way, honestly.
It's tough. It's a little soon for me to predict. But I honestly think that if Stephanie and if highly possible Stephanie is showing up at SummerSlam, that if she's not joining up with Liv, then I don't know. That might not be good news. We'll see. Things can change. We got a long ways away. I think she hasn't had a title defense, so I don't know if I would take the title off of her. But if Stephanie's coming back, maybe that's something she can do after Io if she retains. So it's still early for me to say come back here in about a week or two, and I may have a better understanding on my pick. So yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, thank you for your question. We got Eddie Garraza. Good to see you, Eddie. I believe you're new here as well to the EVP show. Oh, you just subscribed, so thank you for the sub as well. I appreciate that. We're getting close, Kyle. I'm gonna have to give away some money. It looks like when I get to 300, I've been promising it. It's a pretty decent sized giveaway for 300 subs. So tell all your friends about it.
That's big for you.
Yeah, it is huge. It is huge. I'm not just 1 year in, so. If you are watching on YouTube and you are subscribed, to share with your friends. I really appreciate the sub. And if you are watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. That definitely helps me, helps Kyle, it helps everybody. The analytics on the show last 3 weeks have been phenomenal. So thank you to Kyle. He said, "Hola EVP, hola Eddie." I know some Spanish. I got some Puerto Rican in me. My grandmother's full-blooded, so now I'm on YouTube. Bad girl, she's got all the Liv. Thank you so much, bad girl Liv. Got some new people in here tonight, Kyle. I'm liking it. Make sure if you got, like I said, if you guys are watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button. My goal is to get to 10 likes on a stream. 300 is the goal for subs right now, and 10 likes on one stream. I believe I got 8 last Sunday, so make sure you guys share with your friends, retweet it on Twitter. We're live on several different platforms, so Thank you guys so much for being here. All right, so we see Seth Rollins, Penta, which we haven't seen, Io Sky, and we see the newly looked Vision, which I'm gonna tell you, I fucking love it. So let's kick it off. So we get Brock Lesnar. His music Brock Lesnar's music hits. He makes his way down to the ring with his advocate, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman gets on the microphone by introducing himself and his client. Paul Heyman says the Dallas police officers are here for Obafemi. Paul Heyman then says he thinks that Obafemi is obsessed with Brock Lesnar, and that's why he turned down the opportunity to get into the ring with either champion of his choice at SummerSlam. Paul Heyman then called Obafemi the biggest dummy he has ever met in his entire life. Heyman then says he can't believe Oba turned down a championship opportunity. Paul then says Brock Lesnar is also obsessed with Obafemi, which scares him half to death. Paul Heyman then says he recalled Brock telling him he wanted to get inside Hell in a Cell with Oba. Paul then says he went to WWE to get a no-touch clause before SummerSlam. Paul then says he got a restraining order on Oba. Paul then says Obafemi can't come within 100 feet of the Beast Incarnate. Paul Heyman then says he's got a restraining order against Lesnar as well because he is a law-abiding citizen. So the lights go out, and we get the men's 2026 King of the Ring winner, and the man that turned down a World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam, Obafemi. His music hits. He struts his way down to the ring. The police immediately run into the ring to stand in front of Brock Lesnar. Obafemi makes his way into the ring, and he immediately violates the injunction, and the cops do nothing about it. Obafemi starts off by saying he was just slinging people around. All right, just got another subscriber. I wish I had one of those buttons where I could give you a big round of applause. But shout out to I Am Lou Gotti. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Like I said, me and Kyle said earlier, once I get to 300 subscribers, I am doing a huge giveaway on this channel. So tell your friends about it. Make sure you share it with your friends. If you are watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button on the stream because I do a ton of giveaways on this show. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the sub. I'm probably close to 250 now, so I'm about 50 away from 300. So you guys are killing it. So thank you so much. And Kyle says thank you as well.
That might come in as you. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. People have just been subscribing left and right. So Oba starts off by saying he came here for a fight tonight, but he wants Paul Heyman to give an explanation. Paul Heyman then says Obafemi is in violation of a so ordered by the court restraining order. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar then leave the ring, and Obafemi tosses one of the cops to the floor and choke slams the other two. Oba then clotheslines one and then power bombs the other one to the floor. Oba then asks, "Why is Brock running away?" Obafemi then says he wants to know who this is. Oba says, "You were the Beast." Obafemi then says, "You used to run this place, and now you run away." Oba then says, Paul Heyman tells everyone that he gave up a title match, but you know that Lesnar would have interfered. Oba then says Lesnar cannot run from the bringer of war at SummerSlam. Oh my gosh. What's your thoughts going into it sounds like this is going to be on night one of SummerSlam, and I would be willing to bet that it's going to open SummerSlam on ESPN. Your thoughts on the promo, all these fake cops, restraining orders? I'll give you my opinion, but your thoughts on Paul's promo, Oba's promo, the whole segment, the way they're building a Hell in a Cell match so far.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like I mean, it's a basic build to me at this point. They've been going back and forth since WrestleMania. I'm sure this will be a better match too, than their match at WrestleMania and Clash in Italy, because it also be longer. So I am looking forward for that perspective. But ultimately, I don't know. I'm just not fully invested into their feud at this point. I'm ready for them to move on. I said this so many times about Femi. This was the plan for him to face Brock Lesnar ultimately for SummerSlam. He should never won King of the Ring. He should never bid in the King of the Ring tournament. It should have always gone to Seth. And it was just a complete waste of time. And this feud doesn't really nothing for me. I'm just not really all that excited as a lot of people are. Ultimately, some people are really excited for this match. I already seen it so many times at this point, and it's not really. It doesn't really excite me anymore. I'm ready for Femi to move on to Roman Reigns to be the world champion picture. That's what they said that he was going to be, and yet they said no. So I just feel bad for Femi still dealing with Brock Lesnar for no reason. Ultimately, at this point, I'm just ready for them to move on.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy part is Femi came in very just shout out to Busted Open Radio, Bubba Ray Dudley, they got Tommy Dreamer over there, Denise, Mark Henry, Dolph Ziggler's over there, Dave LaGreca. They were talking about, and especially Bubba Ray was talking about how WWE. They felt WWE kind of dropped the ball a little bit with Oba. He come in white, just red hot. And then, after he beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and then we got the fake retirement, we went right back to it. And I don't know if that was always the plan. Maybe it was. The way WWE is booking stuff and the creative is just all over the freaking place right now. You had Brock Lesnar beat him in the second matchup. So at that point, when you seen Femi Brock Lesnar 2 on a thumbnail or a wallpaper, then you know that ultimately, we're going to get a third match. So the part that I don't like, Kyle, and we probably talked about this until we're blue in the face, is why did Femi win the King of the Ring? That is the $1 million question for me. And I can give you the $1 million answer is because Triple H wanted to go, and if you're looking at a map, let's just use a map for example, and you're heading north, and north is Seth Rollins winning the King of the Ring and facing Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Triple H and the social media team see everything that basically the whole bracket is predicted verbatim online. And so he wants to take a sharp left, go east or west or whichever way you're going, and then go back to the south and then circle all the way back around to the north to get to having Seth versus Braun Breaker in the cage, basically a number one contenders match. Oba wins King of the Ring for what? It's not Money in the Bank. So technically, if I'm a champion, I'm going to dispute that at the end of the day. It's not like he can just say in 6 months, oh, I'm owed a title shot. Well, are you? Because you didn't win Money in the Bank. I mean, when did King of the Ring turn into Money in the Bank? So for me, it was a terrible booking decision to have Oba win when the match was always Seth and Roman. It was always Seth and Roman. And you know what, Kyle? I don't know if we even see Oba and Roman. I don't. If Dwayne Johnson works WrestleMania 43 and the rumor mill is going crazy and rampant right now, Moana is not doing well. If Saudi Arabia pays The Rock enough money to wrestle in Saudi Arabia, we're not getting Oba and Roman at WrestleMania. So where do we? Let's just fantasy book for a minute. If we are getting Rock and Roman for the title, because Roman's not dropping the title before WrestleMania, it's just not happening. what do you do with them? I mean, do you have them go after Cody? Because I think I'm almost positive Cody's probably going to be heel and probably be a champion by WrestleMania. So, I don't know what do you do? I mean, you can't. How do you feel about this? I mean, at the end of the day, this man won King of the Ring, and he's like, "Oh well, title opportunities are always going to be there." Well, if it's not the Money in the Bank, bro, like the King of the Ring's never been booked like that. So, your thoughts on that? I'm going to be honest with you. ESPN is going to want this on the first hour because it's a Hell in a Cell match, and we're probably going to get blood. Brock ain't winning. I did listen to you guys on the rundown. It would be a good place for Brock Lesnar to retire, being that he's from that area. But I'm gonna tell you right now, don't hold your fucking breath on that. So especially if they can't get The Rock, Saudi Arabia is gonna offer Brock Lesnar a lot of that Saudi Arabian money to wrestle in Saudi Arabia at WrestleMania 43. If you want my answer right now, I do not think he retires. I think he's done with Oba, but I don't think he retires at SummerSlam. But he's losing. But where do we go next with Oba? Because you can't. I mean, we're gonna have Gable probably as an Intercontinental. What do you do? Move him to SmackDown? I mean, he's still considered a free agent at this point. I mean, what do you do with him? Like, they don't have no plans of taking the title off Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't know. They should have never had him win King of the Ring. Ultimately, if this was their plan, this was a waste of time. They could have gone to Seth Rollins. It could have gone to Braun Breaker. Well, it's just a big waste because we see what Breaker's doing a whole lot of nothing as the tag team champion. We'll get to that in a minute. But I feel like it's just ultimately it was just they clearly did not plan for him to win or to face Roman Reigns or Cody or whoever the champion is going to be at SummerSlam. If that was the case, should have just had Brock Lesnar show up at during the first round when he was there, or when they were in Saudi Arabia. They chose not to, and that's their own fault. And they should never put themselves in this position because Rollins could have won, could have been in the position he is now. Saying the build has been great so far, but I just feel like, to me, that's that was just the end goal. I'm not really looking forward to this match. It's really just nothing for me. It should be good, but I'm not like, oh my god, this match is gonna be fantastic. How some people are that I've heard from are more excited about this match than I am. But yeah, I don't know. I'm ready for Lesnar. I'm ready for Femi to move on to the world title picture where he was supposed to be at. Or even not just that, maybe, or for him to even be the IC champion. No, people don't want him to be there at that point yet because he's been in the ring with Brock Lesnar, and then he's to be seen as a main event type of player, which I can understand. But a lot of people feel that way about Braun Breaker. A lot of people feel that way about even from Logan Paul. I don't know. I still don't see that in Paul personally, but. It's just they can't. But my point is that they can't have Obafemi in the IC title picture after him being in the ring with Lesnar, and he was supposed to have in a match with the world champion at SummerSlam in the first place. So it's I don't know what they were thinking, but they should have just never have him win the tournament in the first place. Because he just wasted the tournament, and when they do it next year, I'm not going to be convinced that they're going to stick with that person, at least on the men's side. At least the women is still get it right. I feel like the women still get it right still with everything when it comes to gimmick matches. So I love covering women's matches or just what women's stuff in wrestling, women's wrestling. So I love covering it because it's all. They don't know how to book the men clearly, which is really bizarre. Why all of a sudden now it's so hard to book credible men's challengers? Men's feuds than it is with the women lately, when it used to be reverse. What went wrong? Well, I mean, I don't know why I'm complaining because I personally don't fully care too much about going with the men, but it's just interesting to me that they care more about the women than they do about the men in terms of telling interesting stories that and keep the people feuding with the person for until the feud is actually over with.
Well, I can tell you what went wrong. And this is no shade because I put it in the chat earlier that, you know, I am a Cody fan, but I'm sick and tired of this babyface Cody, the kissing the babies and, you know, signing the autographs and the, you know, kicking out of everybody's finisher at one. And, you know, I'm just tired of it. I'm ready to see something different. But when you have a company like TKO and they are already, you know, they're not doing, I mean, they make money, but they're not making money like they're talking about. When they're so dependent on these older stars, the Roman Reigns, the Seth Rollins, the Cody Rhodes, the CM Punks, when you keep those people in the title picture year after year after year after year after year, it is going to create fan fatigue. People are getting sick of the same shit. And I'm not just talking about the bloodline. I'm talking about Cody. I'm talking about Punk. We're all tired of it. I'm tired of it as a content creator, talking about the same people over and over and over. Like, I understand the bloodline, you know, and Cody and Punk and Seth, they sell tickets and all that, but it's the same shit every single big event, bro, at the end of the day. And that's where the problem is. You got the Obi. I'm going to tell you right now, Braun Breaker was, for me, I thought he was going to be like the next big thing for me right now. He just, I don't, Obafemi coming to Raw just completely just, from my opinion, I think he's just, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with him. Maybe something pans out over the next year or two. I don't know, but the main problem is they're not pushing these younger stars. That's a shot at all of them, and it's mainly a shot at TKO, because I understand where they come from a business standpoint. Because if you put these younger stars like a Javon or a Trick or Oba in a main event of a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam right now, are you gonna sell out? You're not. You're not, because so people are so used to these older stars being champions. So that's where the problem is. And I think for me, it's even funnier that there are people out there that think that Obafemi and Brock Lesnar should main event. That is fucking hilarious. Brock is not going over. I mean, he might in this match because it's Hell in a Cell, but ain't no way he's going over 12 minutes. I mean, that's just not Brock. I think the match is going to be good. It's going to be in a cage. It's going to be a bloodbath, hopefully. But it ain't no way, shape, or form main event SummerSlam. Like, that's a joke. I mean, the World Heavyweight Championships has got a main event. This opening the show, I don't care what people think. Twitter community is oh my god.
I don't know why they complain about it. It's all in the same thing with the ESPN stuff. It's all connected in your same bundle wherever you watch SummerSlam at. So what's the problem? What's the harm? I don't really understand. It's all the same.
Because they want to bitch. They want to have something to gripe about. They want to cry because Cody and Punk, Sammy only got a 9-day title reign. I see a lot of people still crying about that.
By the way, too, I also want them to remember that CM Punk is the world heavyweight. It's the WWE champion. Roman Reigns is the world heavyweight champion. It makes sense for that to be the main event because that is the big time championships are both brands. By the way, what is Lesnar and Oba fighting for? But pride and for a grudge feud. Oh yeah, but that should be the main event. I never liked that anyway. If you have your world champion on the show, that should be the main event. Overall, the only time it may not be the main event, usually I would think, is that if there's a hot women's feud that overpowers that, and it has been like that for a while. That's really the only time the world title in the men's side is not main eventing. Should be anyway. Any other time, I think it's lame.
Yeah, at the end of the day, on the other side of the coin, you got the Seth Rollins, who's a multi-time, world heavyweight champion. Main event night one of one of the biggest WrestleMania ever, WrestleMania 40. I was there. I saw him wrestle live. I saw his wife wrestle live. He's the last person to be in the ring. Him and Cody are the last two people to be in the ring with The Rock. You got Cody Rhodes, who has been molded to become John Cena 2.0, going against CM Punk. Do you think that for a fucking second that TKO is going to be like, oh, well, Cody's selling a lot of tickets. Cody's selling a lot of merch. The kids love Cody. So let's have Punk and Cody open SummerSlam. If you really genuinely think in your fucking brain that Cody Rhodes and CM Punk need to open night one of SummerSlam, you are watching the wrong fucking product. At the end of the day, I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like JD, but it's mind blowing. Owen Brock's not lasting longer than 12 minutes, guys. So be happy it's on the card. You're gonna get a Hell in a Cell. Hopefully, pray to God they're done after this. But looking forward to it. It is the first match that was made official. We have 2 world title matches. We have a women's world title match, and then two more matches were added to SummerSlam tonight. We have a total of 6. Looking for another 7 to 8 to be added soon. So we're moving on. We take a look at the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns feud with the formation of the Shield, which they showed that a lot tonight with them and their former Shieldmate John Moxley. They talk about how they came to take over, how they changed things forever, which is letting you know that this is it for Roman and Seth. That's not happening anymore. We are then told that Jalen Brunson from the NBA champion New York Knicks will join Roman Reigns he accepted Roman Reigns' invitation to join him at Saturday night's main event. Is that what they're going to do in the main event? Because what are they going to do? I mean, is Seth Rollins going to bring out another basketball player? What are we doing here?
I feel like that is the play, because why else are you doing this ultimately? Because it's like a big there's nothing for Reigns to do on that show but do a segment. It's like it's probably going to do this stuff with him and Rollins again, I guess. But I guess I don't know. I feel like they could just hold off and wait till Raw itself. I feel like doing that on Saturday it's really just for more star power, because they clearly just made, like I said earlier, they made the show for no reason ultimately, and this show could have taken this. They could have had Raw or SmackDown at Madison Square Garden instead of Saturday's main event. Ultimately, they like they usually do. I don't know why they made. Why was this any different? Because we see the result of them just not, of them just coming up on the fly over matches that some matches should happen on SummerSlam, and one certain match SummerSlam should happen on that show. They were so eager of doing this show so badly. So I don't know. I don't really.
I have
just back for me, man. I just don't really. There's nothing about this that intrigues me. I'm not even going to be watching the show because, first of all, I don't have Peacock. So for me, I'll be like, it doesn't concern me.
Yeah.
Also, highlights.
I have one sentence to sum up why this is happening. The card sucks. Well, probably 2 sentences. The card fucking sucks terribly. And number 2, ticket sales. This is all to sell tickets. They're having some sort of Fanatics Fest over in New York. This is all for tickets, man. It's like I told you earlier, like we talked about earlier with the Ovis stuff. When people, you see the whole idea. You see, Cody and Punk there, Cody Hogan, Punk Hogan, Roman Hogan, Seth Hogan. They're always hogging up the main event. It's because they're selling the fucking tickets. Like, TKO is a business at the end of the day. Do I think that they need to be sticking with these guys as long? No, but nothing else is working. They can't sell tickets to people that are not going to show up to see these younger stars that they haven't been developed enough to main event these shows. So that's where we're headed. So we're moving on. Jalen Brunson's going to join Roman Reigns. I'm guessing that's going to be the main event segment after the Punk Cody match. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Roman's going to come out at the beginning of the show. I highly doubt that. He never does. I'm rarely on a Raw. So we'll go to the first matchup of the night. It is the 2026 Women's Queen of the Ring winner, Io Sky. She makes her way down to the ring for the first match of the night. And she is going to be going one-on-one with the person that me and Kyle has had probably the most conversation about in the women's division. She has suffered the most singles match losses on the main roster since she come up from NXT at a whopping 57 singles losses. That is the prodigy, Roxanne Perez, coming to the ring by the WWE Women's Raw Champion, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So we're getting a one-on-one match here. Kind of run through the match really quickly. The match starts off with both women locking up. Io pounds away at Roxanne. Roxanne slaps Io in the mouth. Io gives her a chop. Roxanne hits a kick in the midsections. Io then hits a basement drop kick, sending Roxanne to the outside. Io then goes for a suicide dive, but runs into a right hand by Roxanne. Io then drops Roxanne on the apron. Io then follows it up with a moonsault. The Judgment Day members then cause a distraction, allowing Roxanne Perez to drop Io Sky on the back of her head on the apron. Roxanne slams Io Sky's leg into the steel steps. Back in the ring, Roxanne continues to work on Io Sky's injured leg. Io tries to fight back. We'll move on down closer towards the latter part of the match. So Io Sky then hits Roxanne Perez with a backbreaker for a count of 2. Io then kicks Roxanne in the face, heads up to the top rope and hits a missile drop kick. Io Sky then misses the bullet train attack, but then Roxanne Perez then applies a submission move on Io Sky's injured leg. But then Io fights back, hits a running knee, heads to the top rope. But here comes Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for distraction. Obviously, we see Sol Ruka, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Io Sky ends up getting a roll-up for the 1-2-3 and the 58th single defeat for Roxanne Perez. After the match, though, Liv Morgan attacks Io Sky, but Io Sky hits a show tie and a kick to Liv. Raquel then attack Io Sky, and they stop because the Women's Intercontinental Champion, we haven't seen in a couple of weeks, her music hits, and she comes out and she takes care of Roxanne Perez, and Raquel does a crazy move on Raquel, I believe it was. Raquel then catches Sol Ruka off the apron and swings Sol Ruka into the ringside barrier in the ring post. That was ruthless. Liv Morgan then hits an oblivion to Io Sky and then punches her. Raquel and then Roxanne then grab Io Sky while Liv Morgan yells at Io, and she hits Io Sky in the head with her title belt. So the Judgment Day stand tall over Io Sky and Sol Ruka, but Io Sky gets the victory over Roxanne Perez. Your thoughts on the match, and where are we going with this?
You said Raquel twice. You said Raquel and Raquel. Anyway,
yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I enjoyed this overall. I love that they're hyping up this match between Liv and Io. It was good. It was a good beatdown. I enjoyed the brawl overall. I really am annoyed with Roxanne losing and being the punching bag for Liv. I'm ready for them to just be done with this, of having Liv and Roxanne being a team at this point. I'm just done with that. I'm ready for them to do their own thing, or them feuding with each other. That's what I really prefer at this point. And I think for me, I'm just also waiting for I don't know what to do with Io ultimately moving forward. To keep having Sol Ruka getting involved. Maybe if Liv if Liv retains and Io loses, then Io should probably go, well, say Io and so that's what I want to see, but I don't think that'll be the direction ultimately. But I think, yeah, not right. Maybe not right away. I think when if Io loses to Liv at SummerSlam, I think the next direction will ultimately be for Io to go after the IC champion, no matter who the champion is, going into the fall. It's the first I'm really expressing that. So I never really thought about that of the aftermath for Io if she doesn't win, because I was just thinking in my mind for her to win. But if she doesn't win, I think that's something I want to see is her go after the IC championship.
I think
Yeah.
she'll win it. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so too. I mean, I hope so too. But I was just saying, if she does it, I mean, there's a chance that she may not, but
she couldn't. And if she does it, so here's the thing, and I'll let you finish.
yeah, I hope Io wins, but I'm not really sure.
I think if Liv retains, that it's very, very, because obviously, I've told you and everybody else, what's going on. Eddie says hello to Bad Girl, Liv Morgan. Thank you, Eddie. So if Liv retains, then that pretty much lets me know that Roxanne's winning Money in the Bank. Which we gotta eventually split this stuff up. I know that the Liv Dom stuff is just not it's not it anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore, dude. It's not a thing anymore. They clearly don't care. They're not really interacting with each other. So I'm honestly, but I'm glad that they're not, because I'm done with that anyway. Because Liv needs to be by herself. So go away.
Well, I mean, it was great for for a while.
It was. I enjoyed it for as long as it lasts, but I mean, it can't last forever. So I mean,
at the end of the day,
not really interacting with each other anymore. It's kind of a good thing, because I do want Liv to be by her. Want Liv to worry about her own issues instead of worrying about whatever Dominic is doing.
Yeah, I mean, we got a new power couple on Raw anyway, and that's fucking Maxine, which is because she has risen way up on my charts. I thought that she used to be like a jobber, and she turned heel, and she completely turned me heel, like, because I'm like, damn, like Maxine is killing it right now. I don't know. It's a great build. It's very unpredictable. They could go either way at SummerSlam. I wouldn't be opposed to either one of those ladies winning. Because I know if Liv wins, then we're probably getting a Roxanne Money in the Bank win, which ultimately would be the split of the Judgment Day, because Roxanne would cash in on Liv. We have no fucking clue what's going on with the SmackDown title. Somebody posted earlier, and they put like 12 superstars, and that's going to be the tournament at SummerSlam. I can tell you firsthand right now that ain't. So I don't know why people are posting. CM Punk said something about this earlier in an interview. People, this fantasy booking is fine, but claiming it as a reliable source and posting that they're having a 12-lady tournament at SummerSlam to crown a women's SmackDown champion is just, whoo, it's out there. I'm wondering where people's what they think about things that go on and
my idea was for them to do a freaking I said this before. Do what they did in 2017. In a situation where they do like a couple of triple threat matches, and then the winner of those two matches will face each other for the vacant women's championship if Rhea's not able to wrestle, and then that match will take place at SummerSlam, I guess, or even at that point. I'm thinking for SmackDown, but that's what I would do. Ultimately, if Rhea's not even to be clear, she's not.
I mean, right now, from what I hear, it's about 80% chance that she ain't gonna wrestle. I mean, I'm not gonna report, that she's fully out, but it's not looking great. Just from what I know, and then from what she said in her interview, she is working to try to get back, and WWE is holding on to the hope that she does get back. But Ultimately, God, don't think I love the idea. I love the creativity. It's a lot better than Chat GPT that Triple H and WWE Creative use. Um, but ultimately, I think if she has to vacate, I'm telling you, I got a really, really funny feeling that they're just gonna make Charlotte Jade for the title. Both of them are in the fucking discussion already. If Charlotte wins the title, there's a shit ton of heels. You can have Alexa go after her. You can have Jade again, which I really don't want to see that. You can have JC Jane. You can have Kiana James. You can have Julia. You can have we don't want to see it, but we could have the Bellas. You could have Paige. There's so many matches. Blake Monroe. There's so many matches that can happen with Charlotte being the champion. I think that's how they have to do it if she has to vacate, because they're running out of time, and they're not doing a 12-person tournament because there's only 14 matches and we already got 6. So that just doesn't even make any sense. But I love the build. I do think that we're headed for some sort of tag team match before SummerSlam with Soul and Io against probably a Liv and Roxanne, or Liv and Raquel. Maybe it's Raquel and Soul at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know. Raquel still wants another rematch. She lost, but I don't know. Soul's still caught up in the Judgment Day stuff, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with Lyra Bailey, but we'll move on. We'll take a look at what happened on SmackDown with the Bloodline situation, which we kind of talked about that pretty in depth on Friday. So we get the new look Vision, and I kind of predicted, you did as well last Monday. Maxine Dupree in all black. I was hoping she would have her hair black as well. She didn't, but she looks stunning as always. Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and the newly member of the Vision, Austin Theory's on-screen girlfriend, which I'm gonna tell you, they have way more chemistry than Liv and Dom ever had. And they look like they would actually be together as a couple, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. They're not like Maxine's married, but just, if you're looking at it from TV. They make their way down to the ring. Logan Paul starts off by putting over Braun Breaker and Austin Theory as the World Tag Team Champions and says they couldn't have done it without the new Vision Queen herself, Maxine freaking Dupree. Maxine Dupree. Then we get the entrance of Otis and Tozawa, which is interesting. Well, it wasn't really interesting because I knew it was happening. Tozawa make their way. Otis and Akira Tozawa make their way down to the ring. They are on the apron. Maxine tells the Vision to leave the ring. She orders them out of the ring, which was, she's taking over. So, oh God, I hate when it does that. Sorry, I had a little brain freeze with my phone. So Maxine she even tells Austin Theory to get out of the ring, which I was really, really, really surprised about that, especially this early on. And she was kind of acting like, she was still like distraught and everything. So Maxine tells them to get out of the ring. They are now okay, I'm back where I was. All right. So holy crap. This is okay. Maxine tells them to get later. So Akira Tozawa then asks Maxine Dupree, he says, "What are you doing?" And Tozawa then says, "This isn't her, and he doesn't think the Vision is good for her." Maxine then says she still loves them, but they gave her a choice. Maxine then says they told her if she was with Theory, she couldn't be with them. And Otis grabs the microphone. Otis says Austin Theory is bad news. Maxine then says you don't even know him. But Otis says he knows her. Otis says he has known her for a long time here. Otis says he has something to say to Maxine. Austin Theory then cuts Otis off and gets on the apron. Austin Theory then asks Otis if he is confessing his feelings to Maxine Dupree. Austin Theory then says Maxine Dupree is with him now. And he said, "Do you really think that you stand a chance with someone that looks like that?" Otis says he has heard enough, and he brings Austin Theory into the ring. Braun Breaker then enters the fray, but Akira Tozawa sends him to the outside. The Vision is now starting to beat down on Otis. Otis then fires back, gets fired up. He takes out Braun Breaker and Austin Theory single-handedly. Otis squashes both men in the corner. Otis sends Braun Breaker over the top rope, and he turns his attention to Austin Theory. Otis then looks around, and Maxine Dupree stands in between him and Austin Theory. So then Maxine Dupree walks up to Otis, and they switch positions so Theory can. So she is talking to Otis, and she's telling Otis like, "Why didn't you tell me all this earlier? We could have figured it out." Basically saying, kind of leading him on that he possibly could have had a chance, which is great television, great acting. I bought it for a second. So then then Austin Theory sneaks up behind, and he hits Otis with the low blow, and then Maxine Dupree then grabs Otis's face and says, "How would you ever think that I would be with you?" And then she pushes Otis's head to the mat. Austin Theory then punches Tozawa. Tozawa punches Theory. Braun Breaker then hits a spear to Tozawa. Austin Theory then holds up the brass knuckles that was given to him by Maxine. He punches Otis with them. Austin Theory then gives the brass knuckles to Maxine, and Theory yells at Otis. Then Braun Breaker then hits a massive spear on Otis. So, what did you think about that segment? Maxine Dupree is killing it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for overall. For Maxine's part of it, I felt like I think that the stuff with Otis and Tozawa and all that was a complete waste of time. I felt like I didn't really care for that. The whole because this reminded me about what they did with Mandy Rose and Otis too in 2020. I was like, okay, it's just that they doing this thing with Otis so many times. Like, who cares, man? I don't really care for that. I really like Maxine in the Vision. The problem that I have ultimately is Braun Breaker not feeling like he's just a placeholder. He's just a tag team wrestler again. It's like we kind of bit. First of all, Braun Breaker should never be part of a tag team. I didn't like it when he did it over at NXT with Baron Corbin. Thought that was stupid. And they do it, and they did it again. And I'm like, come on, dude. First of all, he should be by himself at this point. He should have always been, in my opinion, by himself. He didn't need a group. I don't think. I never believed he needed a group. I enjoyed his run as IC champion. I want him to be in some credible feuds, but I mean, I've really liked his run as IC champion. I thought that he was going to be world heavyweight champion by now, because they did that tease all throughout last year when they got rid of Seth Rollins and he held up the world heavyweight championship. I thought that he was going to win the title, and he never. And I honestly, at this point, he should have won the title from Punk back in January, and they chose not to. Thought that was a mistake. And the fact that they just, I don't know, the whole thing with, and then what made it worse is that Bronson Reed got hurt. Then he got hurt. Mm-hmm. And then it slowly became really a nothing group. All came down to Austin Theory. And I was like, oh my God, why is it's just not working, man. And though I enjoy that Maxine has something to do, she's in a faction that matters, but it only matters because Breaker was there. If Breaker wasn't there, the faction honestly would not matter whatsoever. Austin Theory is not a credible name to be like it's not going to be seen as some type of world champion. I mean, he gave him the briefcase, and he cashed in the briefcase to the United States Championship for the United States Championship. And I'm like, come on, dude. So I like Maxine in the group overall, but I want Maxine to interact within the women's division as a heel a little bit more than her playing the role of Austin Theory's girlfriend and being like, oh my god, dude, been there, done that with Liv Morgan. Nobody's already seen this, and like I didn't care for it for Liv either because it's like she's just better than this. At least Maxine isn't seen as a great in-ring wrestler, but I think she has the potential to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they just need to give her a chance to have her in the ring with someone, have her in a feud with someone instead of interacting with the men and being like and acting and being the valet for the God, dude, it's like I don't want to see it. I don't care for this. And that entire segment was just not good. And I'm just like, I just feel bad. I feel bad for Breaker. I feel bad for Maxine. Those are only two really I feel bad for in this entire situation because they both deserve better than this. And if you want to turn Maxine heel, great. I love this. I love this new persona of Maxine, but she needs to be in the women's division, in the mid card. Why not? I don't know why they're not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with you 100%. We talked about this a lot Monday on the Raw Recap. I love what they're doing with her. It does seem like, for me, like the division's really cursed with injuries. Every single one of them has gotten hurt in the order that they joined. Pray to God it doesn't happen to Maxine. But for me, and we talked about this, like I said, it's like she's the star of the group right now, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But when we talked about it Monday, I said you're gonna see her help Austin and Brian, but then you're going to also see her in the ring because Paul Heyman, she's a Paul Heyman girl at the end of the day. So you're gonna see her. She could end up being the one to take the Intercontinental title off of Sol Ruca. So I do think we're going to see this is going to be a way better Maxine because she was going nowhere with Otis and Tozawa. I love them. I think they've been with the company for a long time. I respect them. They've done what the company's asked them to do, but at the end of the day, like it was a sinking ship. Chad Gable's not going back there. He's on his own now, so we'll see what happens. They need Bronson Reed back. I don't see the Vision dropping the titles anytime soon because Maxine is there, and she's going to do what she has to do to make sure they retain. But also, Maxine needs to, like you said, get involved in some credible feuds. Maybe go after that IC title. We have a shit ton of comments that people are wanting to know stuff really quick. So we have Peter Anthony Fernandez 1024. What's going on, brother? What is happening in WWE? Punk winning. Yeah, what match are we seeing at SummerSlam? Roman Seth for the titles, Punk Cody for the title, Liv Morgan, Io Scott for the title, Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell, Jacob Fatu, Jimmy Uso, and Jay Uso versus LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys, and Chad Gable versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. That is the 6 matches that are official for SummerSlam as of right now. Greg, more than likely Liv or Io, depending on how the build-up goes at Bad Girl Liv. Shout out to Greg. Him and Kyle do the rundown on Mondays. 7 p.m. Eastern every Monday. Get you guys ready for Monday Night Raw. So make sure you guys tune into them every Monday. He says hello. I just answered your question. Punk getting the title was a bit strange. It was, but it wasn't. Sammy was never going to sell tickets. It was just a moment. I would probably explain this. I put out about 30 YouTube shorts today. There's several of them explaining why Sami Zayn only held the title for 9 days. He's not a ticket seller. They need to sell tickets at SummerSlam. He was never main eventing SummerSlam.
That was so
Punk is Punk. Cody's Cody. So it's just where it is. So nothing we can do about that. Sami Zayn's not getting that title back. So I can't tell you that. So WWE is not pushing the young wrestlers. We just talked about that. They are absolutely not. They're depending on the same 4 or 5 guys, and that's why they can't sell tickets. Okay, so we got the Tribal Kingpin. What's going on, brother? Always great question. Good to see you. Do you believe they extended Braun's run with the division due to Logan Paul and Bronson Reed's injury? Feels like otherwise Heyman would have took Braun and pushed him in a serious singles run. I do agree. I do believe that.
Yeah, but I guess at that point, to me, I think that's kind of like an excuse, because to me, I feel like though it was an unfortunate situation that Logan got hurt, and especially Bronson Reed. Now first Breaker got hurt, but then he came back. I think they should have just pulled it. They should have just done all they can do to make sure to have Breaker in an incredible spot. I think again the final should have been Rollins and Breaker, and not have them in that cage. Even if it was destined for Rollins to win, I would hope even coming out of that, Breaker would be it in something, because right now it's not about Breaker. It's about Austin Theory and Maxine. That's all they care about as of right now. I mean, the Breaker's just there as he's just there, not important. He's in the right hand side or the left hand side or right hand side, and Austin Theory and Maxine are in the middle. That should not be that way at all. And it's just it's just sad of the fact that that division is where it is right now. Like this is the point of getting rid of Seth Rollins, is for this.
Yeah.
I mean, really, was it worth it for was it worth it for Breaker to be a tag team champion and just be the bodyguard for Maxine and Austin Theory? Was it worth it for him? He's clearly satisfied. I don't know. I guess he's satisfied of sharing Seth Rollins for no reason.
Yeah, it's I mean, I agree with everything you said. At the end of the day, it's the vision is just, they honestly though, they really have been cursed. Like there's been so many damn injuries. So right, for me, like you said, the focal point right now is just Austin Theory and Maxine. Austin Theory does hold a victory over John Cena at WrestleMania, but that's really all you can, he tried to cash in on the U.S. title. So hopefully Bronson Reed comes back. Maybe we can get the plan. Ultimately, I'll tell you guys early, I was going to say it Sunday. I'll talk about it again Sunday. But the plan ultimately is when they drop the titles is Paul Heyman's going to be getting away from the rest of them. And it's just going to be, once Brock leaves, it's going to be Paul and Braun. Paul is going to be representing Braun Breaker for a while, for a long time. So that's going to be the plan moving forward. So that kind of like sums everything up there. All right. So
we have seen Heyman have been slightly annoyed with Austin Theory. This is now twice now. It's 2 weeks in a row now of him not really caring about Austin Theory and all this stuff. And Theory's like, "Hey, Heyman, where were you? All this stuff." And it's like, and you see Heyman just being really annoyed. He looks annoyed at Austin Theory. So it's like, he's just looking at Theory as like a punk kid or something. And it's like, that's clearly go away soon.
Yeah, so I do have to do a quick little plug. Obviously, if you guys are in my Discord or seeing my post on X, I have an exclusive news channel. I do a show on Sundays. I posted about 3 or 4 different things. Obviously, the Chad Gable Penta match, several other things that happened. Kyle even knows about the Lyra Hill turn. Several things that I posted on an exclusive news channel. It's still open. I had between 8 and 10 people subscribe today, so it's starting to get some people in there. So it's $3 a month, no contract, month to month. If you don't like it after a month, then you don't pay the $3, and you can stay in the Discord. I'll just take you out of that channel. But yeah, if you want to be in there and get all these exclusive news reports up to, I'm going to have a lot, moving towards SummerSlam, definitely hit me up and I will get you in there. And I've had some people from India and South Africa and all over the country that don't have PayPal and Cash Out. That is the only method of payment right now. This is not a Patreon. This is a Discord with an exclusive channel. But you guys that pay are the only ones that can see everything I put in there besides myself and the co-owner. So thank you guys for that signed up today. Travel Kingpin says Maxine needs to be fighting the other women that have been relegated to main event. Jordan Grace, Ivy Nile deserve to be on the main roster wrestling. I'll let you answer that call. You're the women's expert.
Yeah, I feel like I agree though. Jordan Grace has been relevant to main event. She hasn't been seen on SmackDown, like almost ever. Almost, she kind of doesn't even exist. I feel bad because she got hurt, and then she comes back and not being in any prime spot on SmackDown in the U.S. title picture, which I think she'll fit well, especially or even in the women's title picture, which doesn't exist because it's been held hostage now by Rhea Ripley. And so it's, I feel bad for Jordan Grace. Hasn't done anything incredibly interesting. Candice LeRae, now the same people from SmackDown, is busy trying to wake up Johnny Gargano. Her talent's being wasted backstage every single week. That's a waste. And just, I feel like Ivy Nile, that could be a great opponent, but they choose not to give her any time to even show her face or even give her any mic time, even if she is on TV. So that sucks. So it I don't know why they view Maxine differently than everyone else who is the mid card that could be relevant to something, who could be in a major storyline. And clearly, it's not that hard to do that. They decided to do it with Maxine. Why not do it with everyone else? Though, even though I will, this is a good role for Maxine because she's on TV every week, or she's going to be on TV every week, but she hasn't done anything in terms of being in a feud with anyone at all. She's been messing with the men, and I don't care for that. I never did when a woman gets involved in the guy's business. Like, who cares? Go back to being in the women's division where you belong. I mean, it's fine for them to be associated with the be a ballet for the male part, at some point, but you also have to venture yourself to be in the women's division. Do you want to be a champion? Do you want to be in the major feud, or do you want to play cheerleader and be a girlfriend on screen for a guy that hasn't met anything on TV and been relevant for a mid card and as a tag team wrestler? Is that really what you want to be around at this point? That's pretty sad. Ultimately, it was cool that she gets TV time, but still, I mean, I would rather be in a feud with someone and be relevant of being known as someone who's has a great feud with someone instead of playing girlfriend to a guy in a faction that's all about the men and not about me.
100%. I don't know. Well, I agree. Like I said, I think it's just a start though for Maxine. They had to turn her heel. They've been teasing it for so long, and they finally did pay off the story.
It's still super new. I get it. It just happened. I think I'm just down on this because I've seen this with Liv, and Liv is already established, and Maxine isn't, and I'm sure it will get her to that next level when she's in the IC title picture. But it's just, they could have done it a little bit. They could have still had her in the vision. That's the plan, but she just had her in the mid card as well. But I guess the Liar's also heel, so but I guess it doesn't matter though. It should be a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, I do feel like she's gonna still be his girlfriend for a while, or until they split up. Obviously on TV. She's obviously married to Cam Hendricks, who is on NXT. So you guys that are gooning all over the internet, just chill out because she is actually married. It's just it's an on-screen thing. It's they're acting. at the end of the day. But she definitely needs to be in a mid card going for that Intercontinental Championship. So we'll go to the last comment and then we'll move on to what happened on Raw. From Peter Anthony, turning John Cena as a heel was a big mistake. Should have happened years back, not on the time he is retiring. Yeah, I think
we talked about all this last year. I mean, we kind of already just kind of discussed that at this point, but this point is kind of like old hat at this point. It really doesn't really matter anymore. It happened. We expressed how terrible it was before. There really is no point of really rehashing that anymore. He's done with this point.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, we can't go back. It was terrible. Hopefully, when they decide to turn Cody Rhodes heel, they learn from their mistakes with John and they don't repeat them with Cody. And that's really all that I can say when it comes to that. But thank you for the comment, though, and for sure. And for the obviously, if you like the stream as well. So then we get the Kyle, we get the announcement that War Games is going to be November the 28th, coming to you from H-Town, which I spent a lot of time there working as well, in Houston, Texas. We've talked about this. We are getting and I don't know if you were on my show. Obviously, Sunday Scoops I do alone. It's a show for me to do alone. We are definitely getting another Bloodline War Games. So, your thoughts on
at all? If that's the case, that's interesting. I do love War Games. I've really loved War Games. I just love Survivor Series in general because it's always the first pay-per-view of after my birthday always. So it's always a special pay-per-view for me every single year. So Survivor Series always have a special place in my heart as a whole. But then they added War Games. I really enjoy War Games, generally. Lately with the men, at least when it comes to the Bloodline stuff, I didn't care for that. I enjoyed when the Judgment Day was in War Games. I enjoyed that, but really I think the women kind of played it. Fortunately, last year wasn't great. So hopefully that's gonna end up being hopefully this year will be a lot different. I think last year and 2 years ago were not that great. So hopefully this year will be a lot better. I really don't remember last year's, honestly, to be honest, with the women's side. I don't remember last year. I don't remember what happened. I know about what happened 2 years ago. Last year, I have no clue. But anyway, I just feel like as of right now, as far as I'm thinking about it, involved on the women's side, I can't think of anything that would resent these five women go up against these five women. I don't see that. Usually they build it up around now. At least a hint of that. I have no clue what's happening for War Games at all.
Maybe Fatal Influence is involved in something. Maybe Jade's baddies, all three of them are involved in something. I don't know. Last year was kind of a shit show. They just kind of threw a bunch of women in there together. They're going to put Io Sky in there because she's going to jump off the top of the cage with the trash can. It's just a known thing for WWE. But I can tell you for a fact that we're getting a Bloodline War Games. They're telling the story. I've been told it's happening. It's probably when we're going to see Zilla Fatu in WWE. So be prepared. We're getting War Games. We're going to get a Bloodline men's, and then the women's. Hopefully they can build that up. But that's really all I have on that. So we get a video package for the WWE Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders Gauntlet match, and then out comes Jimmy Uso. This was, we talked about this about Solo going back, and I told people he was not going to go back because we are getting War Games, like I just said. Jimmy makes his way out to the ring. He's looking for Solo. Jimmy wonders if Solo is scared. Jimmy then gloats about beating Royce Keys. Jimmy then says he wants Solo to fall in line. Royce Keys then comes from behind and ambushes Jimmy, and security make their way out to separate them. Adam Pearce then makes his way out to book a rematch between the two. So we're getting another match between Jimmy Uso and Royce Keys. We'll get towards the end of that match between Jimmy and Royce. So Royce Keys runs into a big boot and then hits Jimmy with a power slam. Hits him with another one. Then we see a big SUV arriving at the back of the arena, and out comes the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Royce Keys then hits a sky high for a near fall. Jacob Fatu comes running out to the ring and he attacks Royce Keys, but he's saying the whole time, I didn't want to have to do this to you. This is a family matter. The referee ends up calling for the bell. Jacob Fatu attacked Royce Keys on behalf of the Bloodline. So the winner of the match is Royce Keys. After the match, though, Jacob Fatu tries to use a steel chair on Royce Keys, but Solo Sikoa stops him. Solo then tells Jacob, hold up a second, leave him alone. Solo then says he understands now. Solo says he was lost and left his family. Solo then calls himself stupid. Solo then says he knows that blood is thicker than water and he is coming home to the bloodline, but he has a smile on his face at that point. Says he's lying. Solo then points to does the ones. He throws the one up to the sky, and Jimmy is happy. They're both happy that he's coming back. So they played that off really well. Jimmy then points, and so does Jacob. Solo smiles, and then he turns around and hits the Samoan spike on Jimmy Uso. Solo then hits a back elbow and some punches to Jacob. Jimmy grabs Solo, and Solo fires back with some more punches to Jacob. And then Jacob Fatu hits a punch of Solo, and he follows it up with kicks. Jacob Fatu then cinches in a Tongan death grip, and then out comes the megastar LA Knight. He takes care of Jimmy Uso. LA Knight then hits Jacob Fatu with a chair. Jacob is not affected by that. LA then hits Jacob in the back with the chair again. So then LA gets on the microphone. He tells them to come back to the ring for more. LA Knight then says he isn't done with them. He then says he will need Jimmy in this ring. He tells Fatu he needs him in the ring. Knight then says he is sick and tired of the bloodline. Knight then says, call your brother Jay and get his ass back in the ring too. LA Knight then says he is done with the games and the bloodline. LA Knight then says he doesn't have to do it by himself. LA Knight then says he agrees to join forces with Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys at SummerSlam. LA Knight then says they can do it at SummerSlam. So that match is going to be made official. It's going to be Solo Sikoa. It's a weird ass team here. Weird ass combination. Solo Sikoa.
Wow.
Solo Sikoa, who has cost LA Knight, I don't know, probably 20, 30 matches in his career. Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, and Royce Keys going up against Jacob Fatu, Jimmy Uso, and Jay Uso, who has not been on TV because he's dealing with stuff in his personal life. I'm not going to talk about it on here. That 6-man tag is going to happen at SummerSlam. Your thoughts on this segment? And I know you touched on it earlier that you thought this should have happened at Saturday Night's Main Event, but it's the bloodline at the end of the day, so it's going to be on the bigger event. So your thoughts?
I think it's all stupid. I'm not a fan of this. I don't care. I feel bad for Royce Keys being a part of this bloodline stuff from the very beginning since he debuted. I think that was a waste. I think they should have had him injected in the WWE Championship picture, or even in the US title picture. I have no idea why they're so desperate of having him in the bloodline stuff, just because he is friends with Solo Sikoa, which I don't know anything about. So it to me that seems completely random and out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere. It's like, I mean, I guess in some respect, it's good for him to have a SummerSlam match, but for him to align himself with the bloodline, I feel like it's pretty sad. I think he could be treated somewhere a lot better, and give him a freaking character and give him the microphone to talk and get people to care about anything about him. You know, the reason I kind of know anything about him because he did the interview with Stephanie McMahon that I've seen. That was now months ago at this point, and yet a lot of people don't know about his story, and he is now relevant to be with the bloodline because he's friends with Solo Sikoa. That's a terrible excuse, and I think he could have been injected into the United States title picture. They teased him being in the WWE title picture with Cody Rhodes, all that stuff during that contract signing. All from 2 months ago, going into Clash in Italy. So it was like, and they just teased that for no reason, and we're back, and then we're doing this whole bloodline thing for him. I feel bad for him in particular being in this storyline, and But again, he has a match for SummerSlam, so good for him again in that respect. But I didn't care for this. This was not for me.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they've been telling a story that Jacob and Royce, 13, 14-year friendship. I agree with everything you said. They had Royce and Jacob both in the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship title picture. And then obviously Jacob is now the right-hand man to Roman. At the end of the day, they don't have anything to do with it. So here's what WWE does. They take these people, they sign them, they bring them over, or you take the LA Knight, South Dakota, obviously the other two MFTs. I don't know. They're definitely going to be irrelevant now without Solo. And they throw them into the Bloodline Vortex is what they do. I thought maybe we would get Jimmy and Jay against LA Knight and Solo, and then maybe a Jacob Royce one-on-one. I would have probably preferred that better. But they are going with the 6-man. Unfortunately, Royce is on the card for SummerSlam. I don't think they're going to win. I don't. It's the Bloodline at the end of the day. So I do believe that this is just a start, though. If anybody thinks this is the end, it's not. There's going to be more characters added, more people added to Solo's side, more people added to Jimmy and Jay and Jacob's side. This is your War Games. This is the start for War Games, guys. I'm telling you right now. I reported it. It's in my exclusive channel. This is fucking War Games. So it's starting in July and it's going to go all the way to November. So just be prepared for it because that's what we're getting at War Games. And you're going to like it because at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's what Triple H likes to say. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. Should be a decent match at SummerSlam, but I fully expect the babyfaces or Solo and Royce and LA Knight to lose. But I think this feud, or I know this feud's going to War Games. So, because we're going to see Zilla 2 at some point. So, all right.
If they were not related to Roman Reigns, this 1000% should have happened with Saturday Spin Event. I've replaced that with Lambert and Bailey for the love of God. But whatever.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but there you go. And Dwayne Johnson's on the TKO board. And he's really good friends with Ari Emanuel, who is one of the top 3 head honchos of
too bad I say, and I'm not a fan of the men's division, so I can talk about it because I'm not covering that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't, me, I don't give a shit. People get mad or not. I'm gonna call it like but at the end of the day, Jacob is a legitimate star. Royce Keith.
I do feel bad for Jacob though too as well because I mean the momentum he had, and then they did the match with Reigns and lost, and now he's the servant of twice, and now he's a servant with Roman Reigns now, which is sad. Not where he could be.
And they're telling the same story of what they were supposed to be telling the last time that we were supposed to get Rock Roman. Everybody is gonna follow behind Roman, do what he says and all that. But Roman is winning his matches clean, so I can't say anything about that. There's no interference. I feel like he's going to definitely beat Seth clean. He's had a difficult time with Seth over his career. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm just telling you guys right now, buckle up because this is War Games. There's going to be more people added. SummerSlam's not the end of this. So we're going to have, trust me.
And if you don't care about this, just worry about other stuff on the show. That's what I do.
Yep. There you go. So then we go to the back. And we see Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and Braun Breaker, and the lovely Maxine Dupree walking in the back. Paul Heyman applauds them and says, that is a vision for the future. Paul Heyman then says he is more than proud and happy. Paul Heyman then says, Braun Breaker showed everyone that nobody messes with him. Paul Heyman then says, Logan is healing faster than Conor McGregor from his 15-second UFC fight Saturday night. Austin Theory then asked if they are back together. Heyman then says Maxine Dupree was so magnificent tonight. Why do they even need him? And Paul Heyman walks away from the Vision. What do you think about that? Is Paul Heyman done with the Vision?
I think he is. I mean, he clearly doesn't care about. He doesn't care about Austin Theory. He clearly doesn't really care about Logan Paul. He only really cared about Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Seth Rollins, and then they decided to get rid of Rollins. So that was their own doing. But then they were focused on. But then they were focused on Reed and Breaker. Had Reed never gotten hurt, I think we wouldn't be in this position. I don't think. Now, where would that lead Maxine in particular? I don't know. It's like it's weird because I think it's good for Maxine to be a part of the Vision, but it's now done for Braun Breaker. I'm sick of it. It's doing nothing really for Logan Paul. I'm not even a Paul fan, and really, it's not really good. It's not doing nothing with Austin Theory neither. He's just there at that point. It's just. He is right when he said that Maxine's going to be the star of the Vision as long as it's still going to be a thing, and that's kind of true. Breaker is now a tag team wrestler, so it's like you just have to deal with that and just learn to be okay with that. I don't like it. I'm sure he doesn't like it either, but I mean that's how the chips fell. And like I said, he should have won. Should have been part of the King of the Ring tournament. And maybe could have been even if he was going to lose, could have been booked differently, or maybe he still would have been in the same position. I don't know, but it's just unfortunate.
For me, like I said, I do know for a fact that eventually, like Paul, once Broccoli, like Paul is just going to be with Braun Breaker for the long term. It seems like. Maybe Paul has been working with Maxine this whole time behind the scenes. Maybe she is going to be like the fucking leader, the Paul Heyman of the Vision. That's the take that I get from it, honestly. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens with Paul Heyman. So we're moving on. We take a look at the Hell in a Cell match, obviously with Ova and Brock coming up. We see Adam Pearce. He's on the phone. He says he will be there if you need him. Ova Femi walks up. He enters the office. Adam Pearce says Paul Heyman was bluffing. He says there was no injunction and those were not real cops. Ova Femi then says that means that they are afraid because they remember what happened at WrestleMania. Ova Femi then says wait until you see what he does in Hell in a Cell. I don't have anything to talk. We've talked about this pretty good bit. I have nothing. Like Paul Heyman just created a bunch of fake stuff because he's trying to protect Brock at the end of the day. So it's just more storytelling between Brock and Ova. They're doing whatever they can do to make this the best possible match they can, which is this is the last match with these two guys. So I don't have anything on that.
Yeah, it's for other people. It's not for me.
Yeah. All right, so we see Byron Saxton. He brings out Bailey in the interview area. Byron then brings up what happened with her and Laura Valkyria. Byron then asks for her reaction. Bailey says she is going to go out. She is going to call out Laura to the ring, and she comes to the ring and she has the microphone. Bailey's in the ring with the microphone. She asks Laura to come to the ring. Laura makes her way down to the ring. And you kind of got your answer. Now, she does look like she hasn't showered or slept in like a couple of weeks. She looks
that's what I tweeted.
Rough, but she definitely still has the same music. So Bailey asked Laura, she said, are you going to say anything? Bailey then says she brought her out here because of their relationship. Bailey then says she wants Laura to apologize. Laura then says Bailey should apologize to her because she held her back for over a year. Laura then tells Bailey to stop being a victim. Laura then says she has been stabbed in the back too, but she didn't come out to make it in her entire personality. Laura then says Bailey would have seen all her problems if she hadn't been obsessed with past friendships and failures. Laura then says Bailey is not a locker room leader. Laura then says Bailey lied to her to make her feel better. Laura says she doesn't think Bailey belongs on the posters. Lyra then says she thinks Bailey drags down every person she works with. Lyra then says Bailey has always been the worst of the 4 horsewomen. Wow. Bailey then admits that she should have known bringing her out was a big mistake. Bailey then says she doesn't think Lyra is special. Bailey then talks about her accolades and promises to beat Lyra Valkyria at Saturday night's main event at Madison Square Garden. Then Lyra Valkyria attacks Bailey, but Bailey knocks Lyra down, and then Lyra hits a clothesline and she kicks Bailey, and then Lyra hits a belly-to-belly suplex to Bailey. And that match is set for Saturday night's main event. 1-on-1, Bailey versus Lyra. What did you think about the promo? And what are we going to be looking at heading towards Saturday as in Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it oh man. I don't know. I was kind of brain dead there a little bit. Can you repeat that one more time? About that
what the whole promo?
Just the part. Hold on, give me who was in it real fast. I was kind of brain dead at that moment. I kind of lost.
You're good. I can reread it really quick. So once Bailey asked Lyra to come to the ring.
Oh, Bill. Okay, got it. I was trying to figure out who was in it. Okay, so I enjoyed Bailey coming out. I'm not the Bailey. I'm sorry, Lyra coming out looking like she was like distraught. It looked like she hadn't showered for a while. This reminded me of when Becky came out when she was in feud with the mini feud she had with Lita going into their match, and she looked like she was stressed out. That's what it looked like here with Lyra. She looked like she's stressed out and didn't take a shower in a while. So I just enjoyed how psychotic she looked when she was talking to Bailey. That was cool. I think the only thing that I need them to change is her freaking theme song. Rock music. I mentioned this last week that I think rock music for her will be really good. So I hope that's what happens going into their match at Saturday night's main event, and hopefully SummerSlam. I'm really surprised this is not happening at SummerSlam. At least their first match anyway. It's just so weird. That's just that I'm not. I guess not weird, but just surprising. And so yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. I do think they'll do their rematch at SummerSlam with. I don't know if the latest stipulation would be another straightforward match. I would do like a false count anywhere type of thing, match, or a no disqualification match. Anything that will be anything to take the stench away from what happened last year between Lyra and Becky at SummerSlam, because that match sucked, unfortunately. So. If they do some type of stipulation match between Bailey and Lyra for SummerSlam, with a no disqualification, straightforward no disqualification match type of deal, hopefully that match will be better, and that's where that first match should happen there. But it's not. But whatever. Hopefully the match at Saturday night's main event will be a good buffer, and maybe Lyra gets herself disqualified. That will lead to their rematch at SummerSlam with some type of stipulation.
Yeah, 100%. I enjoyed the promo. I love how she brought up that Bailey shouldn't be on all the posters that WWE puts out. That she's the worst of the original 4 horsewomen. She really cut deep in her promo, so I enjoy that. With Lyra being a heel, obviously you gotta say stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. They do need to change her theme song. I'm gonna say this: if you get a match prediction wrong for Saturday night's main event, I don't know what to tell you. These 4 matches are so predictable at Saturday night's main event. Lyra's winning. I don't. She's a heel. They just turned her. Not a chance she's losing. Not a chance. Well, I don't know. Triple H's booking's crazy as fuck, but I would think that Lyra wins. They maybe run it back again. I'm looking forward to Lyra being, I want to see how this feud plays out because it's been long term storytelling. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. So I want to see how it does play out. But at the end of the day, Lyra's going to have to move on from this feud eventually and go towards Sol Ruka in the Intercontinental Championship. So it is a Saturday Night Main event. And Triple H and Creative would be an absolute fool to have Lyra turn heel and then lose. So I think Lyra's winning at Saturday Night's Main event. Maybe we get another match, maybe on a Raw or at SummerSlam, like you said, maybe a stipulation, something like that. So I think that's where we're headed with this. But I'm gonna say my prediction for the prediction show Wednesday, but it's pretty obvious where I'm going with that. So yeah, it's good stuff. Can't wait to see that particular match at Saturday Night's Main event. So Peter comments that will Triple H continue in WWE? He just re-signed a 3-year contract, but TKO is monitoring him throughout the summer. So I don't know. I mean, he signed a new contract. They're still backing him, but if they have to step in, they will. So that's really all I can tell you on that. So we take a look at Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and the breakup of the Shield. Another thing with the Shield. So after that, we are going to start the WWE Intercontinental Championship #1 contender gauntlet match. I'm not going to go over every single move of these matches because we're an hour and 46 minutes in already. So Dominic Mysterio, the greatest Mysterio of all time and the greatest luchador of all time, and Joe Hendry, which I told you, Joe Hendry wasn't winning. Shit, there ain't no way in hell. They're going to start they start the gauntlet. We're going to have Chad Gable, Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Joe Henry, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Rusev, and Ethan Page with the winner going to SummerSlam to face Penta. Going to just get to the pinfalls here. JD McDonough runs interference, allowing Dominic Mysterio to hit a 619. He follows it up with a frog splash to defeat Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is the first one eliminated, and that's not a big shocker to me. Yeah, they don't have nothing for him to do, but at least he was in the match. He lost, first one out. See ya. Good night, Joe. So Javon Evans makes his way down to face Dominic Mysterio, which I was hoping it was going to be Dom at the end, but it did not happen that way. So Javon sends Dominic to the outside. He hits a suicide dive, and then Javon hits a red dot for a near fall. JD then tries to get involved, but Javon hits him with a kick. Mysterio that hits Evans with a 619, hits the top rope, but stops after hearing Danhausen's music. Danhausen comes out on the stage to curse Mysterio. McDonough then goes for Danhausen. Javon Evans and hits an OG cutter on Dominic Mysterio for the 1, 2, 3. So Dominic Mysterio is eliminated, and they are. I mean, it makes sense. I hope they're done with it after Saturday Night's Main event, but Danhausen's facing JD. No disqualification.
Sorry, I was waiting for that. It was something else that happened. I was that in my brain. It was about that. It was something else that I just thought about, but sorry, it wasn't that at all.
About Big Cass, they did like the little silhouette or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Big Cass and Enzo are probably helping Danhausen. It's a no DQ match. Judgment Day is going to get involved. We're going to see Big Cass and Enzo help. I said it on Scoop Sunday. We're going to see Big Cass and Enzo help Danhausen win.
Well, Big Cass is playing back. I didn't see nothing about Enzo, but whatever. We see what he wasn't average as beat. So I mean, I'm sure if he is, then fine. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel bad because I used to like them as a team, but it's been years and they never been tag team champions, even though how popular they've been. They just don't view them as anything incredibly interesting. And then when they did their stuff by themselves, it's like it was a big disaster. And the only thing Enzo was good at was his mouth, and the fact that and then it just died a painful death when it came to them being just. They were in the company. Cass left, and then Enzo ultimately left. But the whole cruiserweight stuff was a complete waste, and so it was everything about this is just such a them coming back, I'm just not really all that excited. Kind of like been there, done that at this point. That was
Yeah.
2016. I'm now done with them.
They put a 8-3 up there though, so I don't know. Like that's the day. I think that's the day after SummerSlam. I mean that could be to throw everybody off, or they just could be not showing up at Saturday Night Main Event and showing up the day after the Raw after SummerSlam. That's a possibility too. But
well, I think they are. I mean, why else would they put that date up there for?
Yeah, exactly. So Eddie said he's still here. I'm happy to hear that. There's 170 of you guys that are still here, so I'm glad to see that you are still here. Big Nerd, haven't seen you in a while. I thought Raw was a solid episode. The ending with Seth Roman was an all-timer. I don't know. I love you to death, but I don't agree with that at all. I don't think it was an all-timer. I love how no one came out for a pull apart. I do love that. Just let them brawl. Exactly. I don't think it was an all-timer though, by no means. Overall excited for Saturday Night Main Event. Oh man,
you are,
man. What I would please tell me in the comments what you're excited about at Saturday Night Main Event, because I'm not excited about anything at Saturday Night's Main Event besides seeing JC Jane. That's about the only thing I'm excited about.
I mean, there's big matches there, but somewhat anyway, but not
really,
but not that much.
I mean, I think Punk and Cody, like against Gunther and Sammy's gonna cook, but like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not that excited about it.
I'm just looking forward to that show. It's like I don't like. Please tell me why. I would love to know.
Yeah. Put in the comments now. SummerSlam, I am excited about that for sure. So, I'm excited because my work gave me off for the event. Oh, without me requesting. So, okay, perfect. That is a perfectly good reason to be excited. Now SummerSlam, I am excited. So let's get back to the match. We're still on the gauntlet match. So Javon Evans defeats Dominic. So Dragon Lee is the next one out. So it's Dragon Lee and Javon Evans. These two always.
I real fast about Javon though. Real fast. He did a really good job in this match. He was like super over. He got the crowd invested into everything he was doing, and he got a standing ovation when his form is over with. I think Javon needs to get more of an opportunity of showing what he could do more in the ring, and also to show himself as his character as well. To give me a reason why I should care. And I feel bad too because Javon and Penta felt like it was going to lead to something after he lost to Penta, and thought he was going to have him show a little bit more edge to his character, and it kind of led to nothing. So that was a disappointment. So hopefully they'll give Javon something involving an interesting character and interesting story to do coming out of this, I hope.
Yeah, 100%. I agree 100%. So let's get to the end of the Javon and Dragon Lee match, which it was absolutely fantastic. I agree with everything Kyle said. Javon goes for an OG cutter, but Dragon Lee meets him up there. Dragon Lee then hits Javon with the enziguri. Dragon then follows it up with a chop, but Javon Evans rolls Dragon Lee up to get for the 1, 2, 3. So Javon beat the greatest Mysterio of all time, and also then Big Nerd said the SummerSlam looks great so far. It does. So Javon beat the greatest Mysterio and the greatest luchador of all time and Dirty Dom, and then he beats Dragon Lee. So there's only a couple people left. Rusev is the next one to enter the gauntlet. We will get to the end of that because we're getting close to 2 hours. Javon flies to the outside, wiping out Rusev. Back in the ring, Javon hits a red dot right between the eyes of Rusev for a near fall. Man, this match went on for a while.
Yeah.
So Rusev pulls him back and locks in the accolade again. Javon then has Rusev up on his feet and creates separation. Evans then goes for an OG cutter, but runs into a right hand. Rusev then applies the accolade again. Javon Evans has passed out, and he is eliminated from the match. So, big win for Rusev, though, because they haven't really been doing much with him. So Rusev defeated Javon Evans. So now the only 3 people that's left is Rusev, Chad Gable, and All Ego Ethan Page. So next in the ring is Chad Gable. He makes his way out. to the ring. He goes straight after Rusev. Anytime Chad Gable's in the ring, it's awesome. We'll get to the end. Chad Gable goes for an angle slam, but Rusev hits him with his finisher, or one of his finishers, a Machka kick. Rusev applies an accolade in the middle of the ring. Chad Gable then hits a German suplex into a turnbuckle. Rusev applies the accolade again, but Chad Gable gets a roll up for the 1, 2, 3, and Rusev is eliminated. So we are now down to Chad Gable against Ethan Page, with the winner going on to SummerSlam to face Penta for the IC title. And when we get all ego Ethan Page, he makes his way down to the ring. Before he can get to the ring, Rusev has still got that accolade locked in to Chad Gable. So he's helping Ethan Page, or he thought he was helping him. So he does keep that accolade applied. Chad Gable goes for a moonsault, instead locks Ethan Page into an ankle lock. Ethan Page fights out of it, and he hits a confidence breaker for a near fall. Ethan Page goes for the egoplex, but Chad hits him with an angle slam for a near fall. Ethan goes for an avalanche body slam, but Chad Gable applies the ankle lock once again, and Ethan Page taps out. The winner of the gauntlet match and the new #1 contender to the WWE Men's Intercontinental Championship, and headed to Minneapolis, Minnesota for SummerSlam to challenge Penta for that Intercontinental Championship, is Chad Gable. After the match, Penta makes his way out to confront Chad. Both men will slug it out for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam 2026. Your thoughts on the gauntlet match and the winner? Obviously, I think I told you who was winning about, not a gauntlet match, but I told you what the Intercontinental title match was about a month ago. But your thoughts on the winner, and do you think it was the right call?
I mean, yeah, I feel like with the story you were telling with Chad Gable, it makes sense. I would personally would have had Ethan Page already did that match. He lost, so it wouldn't make any sense. But I guess for like heel versus face, I would have preferred that. I know Gable and Penta had their history because Penta was his first match from last year. And then, the whole reason why Chad Gable felt like he got let down because of the whole, didn't believe that he was true. He was putting on the mask because he was trying to make fun of Ray and Penta and all that stuff. And so, I mean, it is what is there. But now they'll be going back to this. This will remind me of their first match together, and so I'm looking forward to it. I feel like they may change the title ultimately, but it'll be a good match. I would rather prefer to be Ethan Page, and then he'll finally defeat Penta for the IC title. But that's what I would have done. But I mean, Chad, I know he's getting a push, and people want him to be the champion. So, yeah, ultimately, that's why I kind of figured he was going to win, even though, to be Gable's there. But
do you think Chad Gable wins, or do you think WWE would be making a big mistake if they don't put the title on Chad Gable at SummerSlam in his hometown?
I don't think it's a mistake. It'll just be different because of the what does he have? I forget what you do multiple.
Well, he was with AAA, and he did the Masters match. He's so over right now from everything he did in AAA.
Yeah, right. I completely mixed up something else. I'm sorry, my mistake. I mixed up something else completely different in my brain. My mistake.
You're good. You're good. So for me,
yeah,
Penta's held the title for a while. He's, I respect him. He's great. He's went to AAA and defended it. He's had multiple over 10 title defenses, more than any champion on the main roster. So I do feel like Chad Gable wins the title at SummerSlam. So that's
I agree. I think Penta should be at this point in the world title picture. I've been
Yep.
saying this for a little while now. So
He is.
I agree.
He is on the poster of Money in the Bank. So with me being sitting at ringside for Money in the Bank, I am 100% looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing
I don't
Penta.
really trust those posters, by the way, because they're going to
Yeah.
change anyway. So it doesn't really
Oh, of
matter.
course.
I mean, I know that he initially is on the. I expect him to be in Money in the Bank itself. That's kind of already kind of a given as well, because I do expect him
Yeah.
to be in Money in the Bank. Same with Soul, but those posters never really mean anything too much to me, because it's like the first poster until they actually changed it. Because they did it with SummerSlam. They just it was a poster beforehand, and it changed it to how it is now. So
Yep. We'll see. But I expect Penta to be in that ladder match as well. So Big Nitro says, also should be on track to making your show Wednesday. I may be 40 minutes late if I get up at my regular time. If you are going to be late, let me know, because I'm not even sure the show will be much longer than 40 minutes. It's only got 44 matches. But yeah, you can, if you are able to come in, come on in. If not, come into the comments and definitely leave your predictions, and me and Stampede will we will write those down for you. Just let me know if you're going to be late. That way, I'll know how many spots to make for the stream. So thank you for that. So let's get to the main event segment. Kyle, we see a black SUV arriving at the arena. Out comes the WWE Raw World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. He gets his championship belt from the guy that we've been seeing every single week, whoever the hell Lord is. Lord, I need my belt. So then we see Byron Saxton in the interview area with JD McDonough and Dominic. Byron asks Mysterio about his performance. JD interrupts and wants to talk about Danhausen. JD says Danhausen stuck his nose in their business for the last time. JD then says you electrocuted him, stole their money, and you cost Dominic the Intercontinental title. JD then says their match at Saturday Night's Main Event will now be a no disqualification match, so we know somebody's getting involved. JD then says he will prove that curses are not real. So yeah, I expect Enzo and Cass are one of the above to get to help. I don't even really want to talk about this because I love Danhausen. Some of the stuff Danhausen does, but they're overusing him at this point for me. So we see Adam Pearce hyping up Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Adam Pearce is in the ringside with the table with the contract. Roman Reigns seems to have a contract signing for every one of his matches. I don't understand that, but that's WWE's way of doing things. I'm not the booker. I don't make the shows, but Roman has a contract signing for every one of his title matches. Adam Pearce says he wants to make things official, and he brings out the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. He receives a thunderous pop in Dallas, Texas, as he makes his way down to the ring. Roman gets on the mic, and as always, for the last, as long as I've known him to be the tribal chief, he asked Dallas, Texas to acknowledge him, and they do. So then he sits down at the table, starts to grab the book, the contract book, and we get Seth Rollins' music hit. He makes his way down to the ring, and the crowd's going crazy for Seth too. So Seth Rollins sits down. He puts the pen to the paper, signs the contract, makes it official for SummerSlam. Seth Rollins then grabs a mic and says he knows it's going to be hard for Roman Reigns to see his chance drown, see that his own chance, Seth Rollins' chance, drown out the OTC chance. So then the crowd starts. It's kind of a mixture, but you can still hear a lot of OTC chants at that point. Seth Rollins says he understands what Roman Reigns is going through. Seth Rollins says there are certain things in life that are certain, and those three things are death, taxes, and him beating Roman Reigns every single time. Seth Rollins says he wanted Roman Reigns to sign on the dotted line and get this over with. So Roman gets on the microphone. Roman says Rollins, he signs the contract. Roman said that Seth Rollins bored the whole WWE, made the whole WWE universe bored to death last week. Roman says he admits that he listened to Rollins last week. Roman then says he knows Seth is his number one hater. Roman Reigns then says Rollins is only good at laughing. Roman then says Rollins has confused everyone into thinking that they are on the same level. Roman then says it couldn't be further from the truth. Roman says he promises to end Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Roman then says he will show Seth Rollins what a true number one looks like. He also calls Seth Rollins Triple H's son, a chosen son at some point, which was funny as shit because that was definitely true. So Roman Reigns signs the contract as official. Seth Rollins then thanks Roman Reigns for keeping his title warm since WrestleMania 42. Seth Rollins then says he hopes to see Reigns next time. He wants to show up for work. That was pretty deep. Seth Rollins tries to leave. Roman says, "Oh, so you're just going to sign the contract and run away?" Reigns then asks Rollins, "What if you do beat me at SummerSlam?" Roman then says, "What if Rollins is going to carry the title for a couple of months and get injured again?" Reigns says it happens every single time because he can't handle the weight and burden of being the top guy here. Seth Rollins is pissed at this point, heads back to the ring. Seth Rollins tells Roman to spit it out and not hold back because he isn't going anywhere. Roman says that Seth needed a Money in the Bank briefcase to become champion after all these years. Roman Reigns then said Seth Rollins even had to fake an injury just to cash in his Money in the Bank contract. Roman then says if there was ever a time for Rollins to be number one, since Triple H is running things around here, Roman Reigns then says they gave Rollins all his stuff, but he still couldn't walk in his shoes. Roman Reigns then says he is always going to be number one, and he asked Rollins to acknowledge him. Roman Reigns then calls Seth Rollins a B word. Seth Rollins then asked Roman Reigns, he said, "Is that all you have? Is that all you got?" Seth then asked Roman to tell him he's never going to be a bigger star as him and main event as many WrestleMania main events as him. Rollins then says he and Roman are not fighting the same fight, and at some point he had to look himself in the mirror and be proud of what he stands for. Rollins then says, "I am the visionary. I am a revolutionary because I am Seth freaking Rollins." Rollins then said he's so glad that he's not Roman Reigns, but then Seth Rollins punches Roman and he kicks him. Rollins then throws the jacket at Roman and punches him. Rollins then says, "Want to know where Reigns people, where's the bloodline at now?" He's screaming and he called him, I'm not going to say that word. He said, "Where's your bloodline people at now?" So Seth Rollins then sees how Reigns is positioned in the ring and he sets up for the stomp, but Roman Reigns jumps on his feet and hits Seth with the Superman punch. Roman then moves the table in the ring and he sets up for a powerbomb through the table. He lifts Seth Rollins up. Seth Rollins hits Roman in the head with the microphone, and then Seth hits Roman with the pedigree. Seth Rollins lines up in the corner and says, "Get up, you little B word," and he hits Roman Reigns with the stomp and stands tall as the show comes to a close. Your thoughts on the promo with Seth and Roman and Seth Rollins ultimately gaining control at the end? Kyle, is your microphone working? Oh, this happened last Monday. Let me check and see. Check one, check one, check one. Microphone working, microphone working. So Kyle must be having some technical difficulties, so I will mute his microphone. So yeah, that was a really decent promo on both sides. I feel like Roman Reigns kind of brought out some very truthful stuff about how Triple H favors Seth Rollins. He also favors Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, people like that. Roman was gone for a while after losing the title at WrestleMania 40 to Cody, saying that people had their opportunity to take control. They couldn't do it. So TKO brought Roman back, had him win the Rumble, had him win the title back to get some relevance to that title. Obviously, Seth, he didn't tell any lies. Every time Seth does win the title, he ends up getting injured. So, very good promo. The build is looking really good, and I feel like the match is going to be great. there has to be a clean winner. Roman has to beat Seth clean. Nobody needs to get involved. So that was the end of the show. There was no matches announced for next week because this is the go home show for Saturday Night's main event. So before we go to all the outro stuff, I will do a shout out to everybody in the comments really quick. So shout out to Bad Girl Livy. Thanks for stopping by. First time here. Glad to see you. She said, or they said they will sub. Thank you for the sub. Bad Girl Livy. Shout out to @Eddie Garraza. Good to see you, Eddie. Hola. Eddie just subscribed as well. Thank you, Eddie. As I said, once I get to 300, I will be doing a big giveaway. If you guys come in on Sunday, that's when I do a lot of my scoop show. I am live pretty much every day, though. So turn that notification bell on. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button. Help me get some likes on the stream. Shout out to Peter Anthony Fernandez. Also to shout out to the world of Greg from the DWE family. You can catch him and Kyle every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern for the rundown. They were live earlier and they ran down the entire card. Very good show every week, getting you ready for Monday Night Raw. So make sure you give him a follow. He does a lot of great promotional work and marketing and helping getting these shows going and get people in these shows. So shout out to Greg. Make sure you follow him. Peter Anthony Fernandez again. The Tribal Kingpin, as always. Shout out to Big Nerd. Thank you guys. A lot of comments tonight for a Monday Night Raw. And shout out to the 171 people watching live here on the EVP show. So this has been your Raw Recap, July 13th, 2026. Before I go to the outro, my outro, Kyle's microphone is messed up. We are live on my YouTube channel, and as I said, once I get to 300 subscribers, I will be doing a pretty decent sized giveaway. So you guys tell your friends. If you aren't subscribed, share with your friends. Try to get them to come and sub if you guys enjoy this content. We're also live on my X page. We're live on DWE Television X page. So giving you a quick rundown of everyone affiliated with DWE Television. First, we have Miami the Great, the CEO. You can find him on Tuesdays and Thursdays inside the NFL Mile with Miami at 6 p.m. Eastern, which NFL season is 8 to 9 weeks away. Me and Miami will be back for season 2 of the EVP Miami NFL Recap Show. So looking forward to that. Make sure you follow him on X and his co-host and the HR of DWE, Final Boss Baby. Make sure you follow her on X. You can find both of them on Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you give them a subscription as well. And tune in every Saturday to DWE Radio, where you can listen to a really, really, really good show. They're also live on Twitch, DWE TV, DWE Television, and also on Spotify. As I mentioned before, the world of Greg, who does all the promotional marketing work for DWE and videos as well. Thumbs, everything, does it all. And Kyle the Man Anthony, my co-host tonight, every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern for the rundown of before Monday Night Raw. And then we got Kyle the Man Anthony here. Make sure you follow him. I don't know his handle. Sorry about that. But you can catch him every Wednesday night or every Monday on the rundown with Greg, 7 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the Queens of WWE. This Wednesday will be episode number 5. I was made the co-host on episode 4. I was on episode 2 and on episode 4. So tune in to listen to us Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern after the Saturday night main event prediction show here on the EVP show channel. The Queens of WWE will be streamed live on DWE Television X page. So make sure you follow that page on X. Also, Director Reg, After Slam Podcast on X and YouTube and Instagram. Subscribe to him on YouTube, the Smoke Session Podcast, and Sports Jedi Network, and everyone affiliated with Gimmick Table Media. With that being said, guys, I will be going to the outro, and I will be back to tell you guys where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for you guys for the rest of this week.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in to the Raw Recap live here on the EVP show, Monday, July 13th, 2026.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and thank Kyle for coming on. I'll go ahead and hand it over to him. He can tell you guys where you can find him on his socials and what he has coming up next.
Yeah, so you can find me at Kyle Rochelle 96 on Twitter. So what I have going on is that on Wednesday I have Queens of WWE, then that's episode number
5,
yeah. And this we're gonna cover what happened this week with the women's division, and you can catch me there to about the women's division from this week, and so leading up to SummerSlam, like of course do every single week on that show. So catch me there, and of course you saw me earlier today with World of Greg talking about running down the preview show before Raw for the rundown, and so we're doing that every week as well. So that's what you can find me every single time.
All right, thank you.
Every single week.
Yep. Thank you once again, Kyle, for coming on. All right, so as far as my socials is concerned, it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen in the blue, going across the bottom, but it is in white letters. All my links are in my bio. You can find me on X at EVP2JP. Give me a follow. Elon's been giving me shit the last couple of days about follow backs because I've been getting a lot of follows. Got added to a group chat, so a lot of people have been following me. I'm not ignoring you, but I can only follow so many people back in one calendar day. I don't know why they do that. But if you go all the way to the top of my X page, you can see my YouTube page. If you ever get a chance to retweet that and help me try to get to 300 subscribers. So thank you for that. Like I said, if you are watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button. And if you are subscribed to me, turn that notification bell on and you will be notified when I go live, which is pretty much every day. So on Instagram, it is a business account. My YouTube is in my bio, but you can find me at EVP2JP, and you can see all the upcoming videos that Miami and the World of Greg make for my upcoming streams. My NXT videos are already posted on Instagram. You can also find me on TikTok at BradyTheGoat21. Same thing, business account, but my YouTube is pinned at the top of my TikTok. Last but not least, most importantly, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys today for all the ones that subscribed and the ones that subscribed that came into the channel and to the recap show tonight. If you can't find me on social media platforms, you can go to the search bar, type in at the EVP show. There's over 1,000 live videos. So a lot, over 300 shorts. I put out about 40 or 50 shorts today from the last 2 Sunday night scoops. So make sure you guys go and check those out. And if you are subscribed, turn the notification bell on and come join me every night for daily wrestling content. What I have coming up next, I will be back tomorrow night's the All-Star game. So I'll be watching that and NXT. But you can find me, you can come back here tomorrow night live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT recap. And then join me and 9 others Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the Saturday night main event prediction show. We will still be having the prediction show, so come tune in. It may be a shorter show, but we all will be giving our predictions for Saturday night's main event coming up from Madison Square Garden at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're not on the panel, leave your predictions. Come join us. Leave your predictions in the comments. Love to have everybody. Later on that night, you can catch me as the co-host with the host here, Kyle Man Anthony, at 8 p.m. Eastern for Queens of WWE. Episode number 5, Thursday night. It's a new show coming to the EVP show and to DWE Television, DWE Network. It is reality television. You can catch me at 8:30 or 9 p.m. Eastern for the Big Brother Season 28 Week 1 recap show. I will be covering all of the shows that happen in 1 week on 1 episode each week. for 3 months until we get a winner of Big Brother season 28. So definitely looking forward to that. If you're a Big Brother fan, come in and join me Thursday night. Friday night, I'm back again at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. It's the last SmackDown before Saturday night's main event. Tune in at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the SmackDown recap. Saturday, it is Saturday night's main event day on Peacock. Come join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Saturday night for the Saturday night's main event recap show. And then Sunday, it is doubleheader Sunday again, starting off at 6 p.m. Eastern time with Sunday night scoops with the EVP as will be past Saturday night's main event and on our way to SummerSlam. And then come back later on that night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for the LFG Season 3 Episode 13 recap show. With that being said, guys, once again, thank you to all who came in, subscribed, liked the stream. If you did watch the show and you wasn't in here, leave me some comments. Tell me what you thought about Raw, what you liked, what you didn't like, and I check my comments daily. So thank you all, and thank you to the 171 people. We almost got up close to 200, and the stream's been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So we're getting ready to shut down. With that being said, signing off from my co-host, Kyle the Man Anthony. He will be live. He will be live with me on Wednesday for the prediction show, and then I'll be joining him for Queens of WWE right after that. But I am the EVP from the EVP show and the golden boy of DWE, and DWE is the only place to be. Hopefully, you guys have a happy Tuesday, and come back and join me tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for your NXT recap show. Good night, everyone.